can tell me all your good stuff. What you guys working on?
I got my second referral from an out-of-state KW agent in the last week. I got another one yesterday.
That is awesome. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? How did they even know who you are?
Well, mostly through LinkedIn and Facebook, but I've built up probably, I don't know, maybe 200 or so KW agents that I've put in command and I've been keeping in contact with. And there was somebody.
Hold on. More detail, please. How did you find them? What did you say? What did you offer?
Well, I'll reach out to them on LinkedIn. I'll connect with them on LinkedIn, and I'll say, I want to increase my network of KW agents across the country. I'd love to connect. And then once they connect, I say, oh, it's great to have an agent in the fill in the blank area, and I'd love to be a resource for your clients as well who are inquiring about the Atlanta suburbs.
And so let me rehash that a little bit. So you basically you search for Keller Williams or something on LinkedIn.
Exactly.
You found an agent, let's say, that works in Phoenix.
Yep.
And you invited, you tried to connect with them.
Correct.
And they said, oh yeah, you're a Keller Williams guy, okay.
Yep.
And then you reached out to them privately and said, or directly, I suppose, and said, I'd like to have a referral relationship with you, or increase my referral network.
And not only on LinkedIn, but then I'll connect on command. I'll also reach out to them via command, get them in my command referral network.
Through Kelly, right?
Through Kelly.
Yep.
And yeah, so that's built up to probably about 200 or so throughout the country. I try to hit most market. I mean, I think most markets are pretty much covered. Even smaller markets are covered. And one of them was a childhood friend. So nothing
wrong with smaller markets. They have people in smaller markets that want to move also.
Absolutely. I'm not the last person to leave from the Northeast, believe me, to come down here. So I've got the Northeast pretty much covered, and pretty much every market up there certainly, and throughout also.
Okay, so you have received now. So you've been in the business what, 3 months, 4 months?
About 4 months.
4 months, and you've received 2 referrals. I remember when you were building that list, and it was like, built some more. Siege.
Every week I try to add about 10 or.
Yet.
Yep.
Okay, so now you just got your second referral.
Yep.
Wow. So what kind of commission will you be earning when you help these people?
What do you mean?
How valuable is that? What type of return will you get from that time?
Oh, tremendous. I mean, it doesn't take me long at all to connect with them. I mean, even the 200 people, I can't even imagine, maybe 5-6 hours, maybe, pretty dedicated 5-6, maybe 10 hours and tops.
Total.
And yeah, total.
And that gave you 200 referral partners across the country, 2 of which have already sent you a piece of business, which you'll probably make 5 figures on.
Yeah, and they're asking 25%, but gladly. I mean, that's not even the issue.
Yeah, that's typical.
To put a referral in my lap, I mean, that's gladly pay that. So yeah, so far so good.
Man. What did you guys hear from that story? Does anyone like
get back on LinkedIn?
Getting opportunities dropped into your lap?
Right, be more active with building your network.
Exactly. It's just one more form of lead generation, right? One more form of lead generation. That's awesome, John. Congratulations on that. Don't forget that those people you want to treat just like your local people that send you opportunities or send me your referrals, right? So yes, we should absolutely thank them when the deal closes. However, we should also, they don't necessarily have, and to some degrees, you don't necessarily have any control over whether that deal closes. You don't want to reward the person when it closes. You want to reward the behavior as quickly as possible from the time the behavior happens. So the behavior is actually just making the referral. So you want to thank that referral source immediately and generously, right? And then when they know that you're taking care of the people, which you should give periodic updates. Hey, we met, signed a buyer brokerage agreement. We're having a lot of fun together. I'm so grateful for the referral, right? Touch them every couple of weeks and let them know that you're that everything's going well. Then when the deal closes, you can send them another little gift card or something, right? But don't wait, don't only reward the person when the deal closes. That's not the behavior that they have control over. The behavior that they have control over is making the referral in the first place. Does that make sense? Okay, who else has some good news?
I have a question for John.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anything that you did to like stand out? I don't know. To me, it kind of just seems like you could get lost a little bit with all of them. I don't know.
Oh, you definitely can. You definitely can, and I'm surprised that I got even two at so quickly. I reached out to them. Maybe I'll message them every 3 or 4 weeks or so, just to keep in touch. I do send that entire list, the Atlanta market update each month. So that'll go out to the other KW agents as well with a little note. So hopefully, each month or so, I try to stay in there, in their minds.
And you can also say something like, "Hey, I'll be at family reunion. I'll poke you when I'm there." Right. Yeah. So here's what popped into my mind, Victoria, when you asked that, is that when you're fishing in a pond where not many people are fishing in, you don't have to compete with many fishermen. Right. So if you're one of 50 calls of an expired listing one afternoon, then yes, you're going to have to do some significant, how do I stand out from the next guy? When you're calling, I don't want to call them random agents, but they kind of are random agents across the country. No one else is doing that except for John, right? So it's much like a seller or a buyer here. If they know somebody, they're probably going to give that guy an opportunity. 70% of the time, they only interview one person before they make their decision.
There's also Facebook pages as well that are committed to like KW referrals as well. There's also a few Facebook pages as well you could join.
That's right. And I'll give you one last thought on that. Is somebody came to me yesterday afternoon and said, "Hey, do you have a Fayetteville agent?" And it was the end of the day, so I was maybe feeling a little sarcastic, but I said, "You don't want my guy. My guy is loyal to me, right? You need to go find another guy or woman, right? Because if I give you my person, they're not going to send you any business on the north side. They send it to me, right? So if you ask somebody, hey, who do you know in Gainesville? They'll tell you who they know. The problem is that you're not going to get any business from that person because they already have a relationship with somebody. Does that make sense? So go find the person who doesn't have a relationship, and that ought to be your person. Because it's supposed to be a win-win, right? If I give you my lady who's been in the business forever down there, I mean, she'd love the opportunity, but she ain't going to send you anything because she's sending it to me. Make sense? Okay. Who else wants to share?
Well, I got somebody.
I see your question, Greta. We're going to come back to that. Ebony, go ahead.
One of my spheres, I got them approved through Home Partners.
Okay.
So it's a lease purchase, but still it counts as, a full buyer. I still get the 3% commission off of that. They were just approved yesterday. Yep. So I'm excited about figuring out how to do that part.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Good job. Good job. I got to tell you, I've had a number of conversations lately in the last week or so with people who are working with either renters or people that are working with landlords. And it's just I'm not saying go focus on rentals and landlords, but if you're not like swamped with clients right now, don't shy away from it either. Right. We have Ashley in our group. Oh, Ashley's on the call. She just put what was it, like around a $2,000 rental in Buckhead on the market.
Yeah, and I got tons of calls.
Right. These are all people. I mean, I'm making some generalizations here, but they generally are young.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They are. They're all like in their late 20s, early 30s, and they all said within a year to a year and a half, they're planning to buy. And so I've kind of touched base with them, and I plan to keep them, add them to my database and keep talking to them throughout the year and make sure, they're still on track. And, a couple of them said they would use me as an agent when they're ready. So
That's amazing. I mean, and by the way, these are people, depending on the price range, these are $400,000 buyers, most likely, right?
yeah.
And if they're single, they're probably going to couple up with somebody, and then they turn into $600,000, $700,000 buyers. And guess who their friends are? A bunch of $600,000 and $700,000 buyers. And then what happens after they couple up? They start having kids. What do we know about having kids? 1/3 of people that have a child will move within a year of having the child. Guess what? You got a real estate license. You can help with that. They want to rent, you can help. You want to buy, you can help. You know somebody that wants to rent or buy, you can help. You see what I'm saying? So we got to, when we're playing the short game, like trying to get food in our plate next month, and securing immediate agreements, yes, I want you to focus on that. But don't shy away from playing the long game too. That's awesome, Ashley. Great job. Great job. Okay, John, can you just quickly explain to the group how you network through Kelly or Command?
Well, in all honesty, I actually just kind of store them in Command. I think I need a little bit more. And I have my, there's a referral tab within Command that I've kind of stored everything, all my notes, all of their information. This is, I send invitations to them through Command.
Yeah, I'll share. Mine isn't overly, to be perfectly honest, I haven't spent a lot of time building this up, but here I'll show you kind of what, where that is. Okay, so it's in the referral tab, or the referral, what they call, these are the applets over on the left-hand side here. So you click referrals. Okay, so this is my referral network. Okay, I have 3 pending invitations, pending referrals, these kind of things. So you can track your referrals and you can grow my network. So let's grow the network, for example. Okay, so let's say you can sort by market centers or referral patterns. Have you guys ever seen this before? Okay.
I did not use that as much, Bill. That's something I kind of.
It says unable to retrieve the referral pattern right now. Okay, they must not have realized I was going to be showing you guys this today.
I did use that before, Bill.
All right, tell me what you learned or what happened.
So of course I didn't have any referrals, but I was able to zoom in. I have a mentor up in Tennessee. So I was able to look at their market center, see the agents that are in their center, and then actually drill down on their name and see how much sales they've had in the last 12 months. I looked up Aubrey and seen that he had 15 million in the last 12 months.
Right.
And yeah.
That is awesome. I'm gonna show you just, I'm not really prepared to do this, but I'm gonna try it anyway. So I just started working with a woman named, make sure I'm spelling this correct. A woman named Adrienne Michaelek. Okay, she's in Geneva, Illinois. She's helping me do some recruiting. She's in my downline. Okay, so I went and I want to connect with her on through Command, right? So I typed in her last name. There's actually, interestingly enough, 2 people with that last name in the Keller Williams network. Here she is, Adrienne Michaelek from Geneva, Illinois, and I'm going to send an invitation to connect with her via Command. Okay, and then she will be a member of my referral network. Okay, and as soon as this gets up, you can search for different cities, referral patterns, and these kind of things, and just invite people to work with you, right, and get to know these people. When you are, waiting for a session to start, or you're during family reunion, I would highly recommend that you go and network with people, right? Make it your goal to add 10 people to your network a day, other agents, right? Guys, it's just one more, conversations are conversations. The more we have, the more opportunities we'll ultimately get, okay? Greta, does that, you got to play around with it a little bit, but that's where to find it. Okay. You can also do the same, you can access the same place through Kelly, the app Kelly, right? So you could search for.
I thought Kelly was going away.
Kelly is, I don't know that it's going away. It's going to be basically completely revamped. But Kelly is kind of the interface. Kelly's the connector between us and Command. It's basically like the Siri. Command is like the encyclopedia, and Siri/Kelly is how you access it, or one way you could access it. I don't
Through
believe
your
Kelly's
phone.
going away.
Right? Through your phone.
What?
I've never understood Kelly.
Yeah, it's. Let's not go into that.
Yeah.
Okay, like I said, it's being completely reworked. The coolest thing Kelly does right now is tell you what your profit share is 2 days early, usually. That's the coolest thing it does right now.
Bill,
Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So how, like, when we're looking up other agents to add, to the referral network,
Yep.
when you're a newer agent and if someone's trying to kind of just look for someone in Atlanta, so they can, have that connection, how do you make yourself stand out as a newer agent when your sales is not in comparison to someone else's sales? And it's like, if we keep feeding the same pockets and keep giving those people who have the $1 million sales, how as a newer agent do you get to their level if people are simply basing what it is, your value off of the amount of sales, that you have? And you could be an awesome agent, you see the opportunity.
That's a great question, and it's a very deep question. Okay, let me just spend a moment on that. That is a very good illustration of the idea of a dependent mindset or an interdependent mindset. Okay, or maybe a better way to put that is that's a very good differentiator between a passive way to grow your business and an active way to grow your business. So, Ebony, truth of the matter is if people are searching for the top of the top, there will be a day where you will be in that group and you will be selected. For the foreseeable short-term future, you're probably not going to win that fight. Okay. Therefore, being passive and being in the, I wonder if anyone will choose me randomly today, approach isn't going to help. So you have to take a very active approach if you want to secure business this way, which is to go out and show another agent that you're awesome, right? That you know what to do, you know what to say, that you're Kellerized, that you got great culture, that you're a person of integrity, that you're a hard worker, etc. So you're not probably going to get chosen because you had a huge amount of sales. You're going to get chosen because you're taking initiative and intentionally going and building relationships. And those people aren't going to say, well, I'm looking for a really happy person with more sales. They're going to say, I know Ebony, because they're busy and they don't have time to go search for more people. Does that make sense?
It does. Sucks in the long and right now, but later on it's going to pay off.
Well, it maybe, but the fact is you can change it quickly, and you can change it by doing something like what John was doing, which is taking and being real intentional about going out into the marketplace and meeting people. And basically remember how we said we want to make things easy for everyone? John has made things like, I think this last guy came from Nashville, right?
The last one came actually from Pittsburgh. The first one came from Nashville.
Okay, let's just take the one from Pittsburgh then. So this Pittsburgh agent has a prospect, wants to move to Atlanta. Okay, if he did not know John, he would have to do some stuff, right? He'd have to call the team leader or search by production. Can I be honest with you? Most people don't even know you can do this, right? So, nothing's different in Pittsburgh than Nashville than it is here. Agents are overwhelmed with helping buyers and sellers. They have not been strategic about learning all the little ins and outs of command. And so they don't know that you can even do this 90% of the time. Okay. So this person says, gosh, I'm really busy today. I wish I could just know an agent in Atlanta. So what John's done is made it easy. The hard thing is to make the calls, follow up with the calls, chase down the people, find out who's on desk duty, find out that they're brand new, yada, yada, yada. That's all hard and takes time. What John's done is made it easy. Okay. So John, did any of those people ask you how many sales you've had?
Absolutely not.
Because they don't care, because you're a nice guy and you sound like you know what you're doing. And Ebony, you got those same skills. So like I said, if you take the initiative, you're basically making it easy for people. Does that make sense?
It does.
Can I tell you just a really interesting story? We're doing a little bit of work in our backyard, and we're bringing a guy over to create some paths and whatnot. And he is really thorough. He's really good at what he does. Okay, he delivers the quotes and estimates very quickly. He double checks all the things. We've been a little vague about a few things, so he's trying to nail down what we want. He wants to do one more final walkthrough before he orders the material. Like, he's being very, very thorough, and he's executing on all the promises that he makes, right? It's painfully obvious how much more impressive than he is over the first guy we brought over. Do you see what I'm saying? It's not just real estate agents you're competing against, guys. If I just had that experience with a landscaper, and then you show up at my door to be my realtor, and you're completely unorganized and don't do the things you promised me you'd do, even though the landscaper is not your direct competition, it highlights your deficiencies. Does that make sense? That's kind of
Yes,
like
it
what we talked about with respect to like your biggest competition. Your biggest competition could be Amazon or the Ritz-Carlton. I can hit a button and have whatever I want at my front door in 2 hours if I pay enough money for it. You see what I'm saying? How quick is it to get the experience that people want from you? Right? They're like, damn, I got this package from Amazon in an hour, and I've been waiting for these comps from John for 3 days, and I can't, his voicemail is full. Oh my gosh, can y'all please double check to make sure your voicemails aren't full? For crying out loud. Okay, sorry, you guys, let me be on my soapbox for a second. Let's talk about the 3 asks, shall we? Okay, who's been using these 3 asks? Who's had some success? Can anyone tell me what they are? The word of the day is Kellerized. There you go. All right, does anyone know what I'm even talking about?
Yes, it's have you or anyone you know thought about, have you thought about buying or selling? Has anyone you know thought about buying or selling? And then the third one is, I can't remember.
So, okay, great.
Oh, when you think of real estate, who do you trust?
Beautiful. Thank you, Greta. Thank you. So I know the words are just slightly different, and I think they're written that way for a very specific reason. So 1, have you or your family thought about making a move recently? Making a move, and have you thought about buying anything or selling anything? One sounds a lot more conversational and one sounds a little bit more salesy. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, which one is which?
Have you thought about making a move is starting a conversation, is in where are you going? What are you doing? But if you thought about buying or selling, that is, I'm here
That's
to
a
be
straight up
ready.
sales call.
Yeah, it's a sales call.
Right? But if you ask in the course of a natural conversation, have you or your family thought about making a move recently? That is conversational. That's, in my opinion, yes, it's all sales, but it's not in your face. This is a sales call. Does that make sense? Okay, second, do you happen to know any neighbors or someone from church or work that we could be helping with their real estate needs? That, again, we're not saying that we could help buy or sell something with their real estate needs. Real estate needs could be, who's your roofer? Who's your plumber? Who's your painter? Who's your electrician? Right? It's causing them to think. Okay. And then thirdly, when you think of real estate, who do you trust? That is not, do you have an agent? Right? Because the second, that's a closed-ended, that's not an open-ended question. That's a yes or no question. And more than likely, they're going to say yes, whether they're being truthful or not. And at that moment, the conversation's kind of over. Like, there's not many places to go after they tell you they've got an agent. Oh, well, who is it? Oh, it's Michael Gould over in Roswell, Keller Williams. Oh, okay, well, have a nice day. I mean, that conversation's going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? So when it comes to real estate, who do you trust? Okay. That also implies that you should reevaluate the person you think of when you think of real estate and confirm that you actually trust them. Right? Follow what I'm saying? So somebody in our group, I don't think they're on right now. Somebody in our group I was chatting with yesterday, and he said he's chatting with a for sale by owner, and the for sale by owner is like kind of in the way outskirts of Atlanta, and it's not really close. And the FSBO says, I want a local agent. I want an agent that works this area, and he's not really an agent that works that area. He says, what should I say? And I said, what if you said something like, I can appreciate that. Let me ask you a question. Are you more interested in finding an agent that works the area, or are you more interested in finding an agent that's going to work the hardest for you? What's that mean? That means that the agent that's in the local area is not the agent that's going to work hardest for you, right? Created a reality that didn't even exist in the mind of the listener prior to them making that comment. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So then she's going to have to say, or he's going to have to say, well, I guess I want a local agent, but now you've got me wondering how hard they might work, right? Well, what is it that you're expecting an agent to do for you? Right? Which is another way of saying, please make a short list for me of the things that I can do so that you'll be impressed with me and we can do business. See what I'm saying? So if they say, well, I don't have anyone, which is most likely what's going to happen, right? Then you say, I wanted to know if I could have the right to earn that responsibility to be your trusted resource. That makes it seem like you're like applying for the job. It's a big deal, right? Being somebody's local economist of choice or real estate resource is a big deal. You don't just like get it, you have to earn it, right? And when you use those words, you remind the listener how much reverence you have for that honor. See what I'm saying? Okay. Would it be okay if I stayed in touch with you periodically and just let you know what's going on in your neighborhood and in the market? Right? If you need anything, I'd be here for you. Does that sound salesy to you? Right? Now, if they were to say, yeah, you know what? Interestingly enough, my wife and I were talking about buying an investment property in 2021. Really? Tell me more about that. Oh, well, it would be in Tucker, and we want to buy it for $300,000, and we've already chatted with the lender. Wonderful. Sounds like we should meet. Remember that line? When you've identified an issue or a struggle that the listener is experiencing, and you've identified the fact and shared the fact that you know how to solve that problem, then the natural next step is to meet. Hey, sounds like we should meet. Sounds great. That's really interesting. Sounds like we should meet. Right? What questions do you have? Okay, let's talk for a second about what you can offer them. Okay, I just wrote a couple of ideas here. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen with you, I don't think. Am I? Can you see my screen? Oh, okay. You could offer the mobile app. Okay. You could offer to do a neighborhood nurture, right? Hey, would you like to, search for homes by neighborhood, right? No other website does that. Zillow doesn't do that. Redfin doesn't do that, etc. Okay. One thing, there's some cool things you could do with that. Like maybe, so let's say I live in Choco Hills area. Okay. So I want to follow that neighborhood. So I know what's going on over there. I grew up over near North Lake Mall, kind of near like Dorville, Chamblee area, Henderson Mill, Evans Road, Chamblee Tucker Road, that area. So wouldn't it be kind of cool to see what's going on in the real estate community in the area that you lived in? By the way, this is nationwide. So if you grew up in Phoenix, you can look in the area you grew up in Phoenix in. Oh, and I've always wanted to live in Asheville or have a little vacation place in Asheville. So maybe I'll pick a couple neighborhoods in Asheville that I want to keep my eye on, or maybe I want to move to Daytona Beach one day so I can, follow that, so that these are some cool things that people can have fun with this type of product. Okay. And it can also be really innocent. Hey, our company's come out with some really cool technology. I just wanted to, see if you, maybe you could test it out and give me some feedback. Let me know what you think.
So Bill, I have a question.
Yeah.
On looking for neighborhoods, like, I know we can set up, I think, I don't know, I think we can set up to like look at neighborhoods in other states through command, yes?
Yes.
But you can't do an actual search on FMLS
Uh,
or any other, like I can't find a home for within that neighborhood. I can get like an
yeah.
overview.
Well, you could look at active listings in, let's say, a little town in Phoenix, using the KW system, using command, yet you wouldn't be able to see it in like its listing presentation, if you will, as if it was their MLS. Does that make sense? Because there's like thousands of MLSs across the country.
Right.
But KW has relationships with all of them. That's how we have these feeds all going into having access to the neighborhoods. So for example, if somebody was looking to move to Phoenix, and they knew very specifically what neighborhoods they would consider, and they found something they were curious about, then by that time you probably would have met a local Phoenix agent, and you could say, hey, the neighborhood, Sweet Apple Park or whatever, 123 Hill Street, they've already picked the home potentially. Can you show it to them today?
How do you find the homes though if you can't access like a search to know? I mean, I guess you could use realtor.com or
you could, or or Zillow or something like that. God, I can't believe that even came out of my mouth.
I know.
Is this thing recorded? Yeah. Oh gosh. Anyway, you could, or you could just search, you could play around with different neighborhoods on the computer screen through command. I mean, the most efficient way from a time perspective is if you know that somebody is looking in a specific area, you could give them just enough to create some curiosity. And the second they have some real curiosity, they need to be speaking with an agent in their local market, which gives you an opportunity to go build a relationship with somebody. Okay. One more thing that you could offer to people is a vendor list, right? Now, by the way, I wouldn't just like cut and paste the vendor list and say, here's all the vendors, don't bother calling me ever again because you got the list. Say, we have a list of vendors. So if you ever need a carpenter or a roofer or an electrician, call me, I can help you. By the way, do you need anything right now? Right? Have we ever had a relationship with somebody that was going well until it didn't go well? My flooring guy was a great flooring guy until he hit on my client, and then we were done. You see what I'm saying? So if I had sent the flooring guy's contact information to a client a year ago and said, hey, that's a great guy, and they weren't going to call me every time they needed a floor, they're just going to look at my list, and they call my sketchy flooring guy, who didn't appear to be all that sketchy at the very beginning, and they get hit on, you think I'm ever going to get any business from that person again? No. Right? Plus, I want them to call me because I want to see what's going on. I want to see if they got any new goals. I want to see if they got any new stuff cool going on in their life. I want to deepen the relationship. I want more data. Make sense? So another thing you can talk about is refinancing. We've talked about the fact that if you're in touch with somebody who owns a piece of property right now, with very few exceptions, they should be doing one of two things. One is selling it, okay? And secondly, if they don't want to sell it, they should be refinancing it, okay? And if you haven't refinanced in the last 4 or 5 months, you should probably look into it again. You could probably save some money. I think I've told you guys this. My neighbor across the street bought his home in August of 2019. He is now refinanced. In addition to buying it in August of 2019, he's now refinanced 3 times. Each time saving money. Okay.
Bill, I have a quick question on
Yeah.
that. If someone has 100% equity, like their home is totally paid off, what could you possibly offer them in that case? Like what, home equity line of credit, or what types of options could you?
From a financing standpoint or just overall?
No, just in case they wanted to tap into that equity to maybe buy an investment property, what suggestions could you make?
I'd probably I'd probably ask some more questions so I knew which direction to take it, but I might say something like, wow, congratulations. That is, you're in rare air there with a paid off house. Congratulations, right? Because people that have a paid off house, they more often than not, it didn't just like happen, right? It took a lot of discipline. It took a lot of time. It took a lot of energy. It was constantly on their mind, right? So the first thing I would do is praise them, right? Give them some honor for that, some congratulations for that. Next thing I would do is say, gosh, so what's next? Like, what's your next real estate goal, right? And I might say, well, I don't have any. I'm going to sit here and not pay a mortgage forever. Wonderful, right? Sounds awesome. Is there anyone, do you happen to know anyone from church or work that's thought about making a move lately that we could help with their real estate needs, right? There may not be anything to help that person with at the moment, right? But if they say, well, I'm thinking about buying an investment property. You could also say, to come to think of it, you could also say something like, I'm spending a lot of time each day working with sellers looking for buyers and working with buyers looking for sellers. And I pretty often come up with opportunities that, investment opportunities. If I were to come across something, is that something you'd like me to share with you? Right? Are you open to opportunities? Is buying an investment property something on your radar? Right? I mean, look, I might get some people that disagree with me, some vehemently disagree with me, but I don't see any reason in the world you should have a payoff home right now. Okay, your money is as non-liquid as possible at a time where money has never been cheaper. Okay, I'm not a very conservative person when it comes to that. I do tend to be a little bit more, I wouldn't say risky, but a little bit more unconventional, right? But if it was me, I would probably take out some of that equity and go do something fun with it or make another investment with it, right? Because that money is doing absolutely nothing. You see what I'm saying? The home is appreciating or depreciating at whatever rate it is, regardless of how much equity is in the home. You see what I'm saying? And do you think it's safe to say that you could get more than 3% doing some type of other investment?
Sure.
If you can get a better return with your money than the current prevailing interest rate, I don't see a ton of reason why you should sock the money in your house.
So, Bill, would that be would the best bet for them be a HELOC or to refinance?
It could be either one. It's a good question, Markia. It could be either one. I'd run both of those scenarios, right? So you could do basically a cash out refi, which is almost like you remortgage your home completely, right? Or you could take a small mortgage. Let's say you owned a $300,000 home outright and you wanted the $80,000 mortgage or an $80,000 home equity line. You could do that. So I would have a well-trained, honest, strategic lender partner walk you through all those scenarios.
Yeah,
Right.
so that was my question, because I reached out to someone in my sphere and she said, I offered the whole refinancing option, and she's like, I can't refinance. I've totally paid off my house. It's free and clear. And I
Let me tell you
wasn't
something.
sure what to do.
Anybody, there ain't a bank in the world that if you walked into and said, I got a paid off home, can you loan me some money on it? Not a single lender is going to turn you down. They will find some type of product to offer you some money. I promise you. So you might say, wow, congratulations. What's your next goal?
So it sounds like I have a reason to call her back to share some good news.
Yeah. I mean, I would check with Kathy or something first, just to be able to share with her briefly a few ideas. But by all means, right? Why would a lender turn that down?
Hey,
They're in the
Bill.
business of loaning money. Yes,
Bill,
James?
Sorry, Kathy, I had a similar thing a couple years ago. Kathy says one of the things we should, and she'll verify this when Donna talks to her, but is just say, if you have any other debt anywhere, credit cards, car loans, college, this is far less expensive. Your home mortgage, far better to have a mortgage, use that money to pay off these other things.
Yeah, let me say this. There's a lot of information out there and a lot of misinformation out there. Okay. So you need to work with partners that you trust, right? There's people can get into trouble quick if they're not disciplined or intelligent. Okay. So, for example, if I have a car loan at 1.9%, then I'm not going to pay that off using my home equity. That doesn't make any sense, right?
Sure.
There's certain things that, if I've got a car loan at 17.9%, I mean, you kind of need to consider why you took out a car loan for 17.9%, but that should go pronto. See what I'm saying?
All right.
If you've got a car loan at 17.9%, you need to put on your headset and call people until you pay that thing off.
That kind of reminds me of something that I heard. I think it was from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Like when people tap into their equity to pay off other bills, they have to be super disciplined, because what happens is then they end up making more bills afterwards instead of using that equity to create passive income.
I'm glad you said that, Donna. That's exactly right. Because if that's what you do, you're not correcting the habit that caused you to get into debt in the first place. Like, oh, I'm hungry, let's order Uber, right? I'm tired of sitting around my house. Let's go pay for a vacation we can't afford. See what I'm saying? Okay. Anyone else want to share any thoughts? Okay. I'm not trying to, there's probably somebody on this call, I don't know this for certain, that has a car loan that is way too expensive. Guys, it's gonna be one of the biggest obstacles to gaining wealth and building wealth. Let's put on the headset. Let's go make some calls. Let's go help a bunch of people so we don't get dragged down through financial mistakes that we've made in the past. Make sense?
Yes.
Okay. If you need some help with that, that's like it's my side expertise. I'll give you some pointers, okay? By the way, I think I left it at home today, but Kim Liptrot gave me an awesome book for the holidays about a tax-free retirement. I'm already doing a lot of that stuff, but I thought that was a really cool idea. Just talks a little bit about 401ks and IRAs and all the tax implications and stuff. So guys, part of this job is building wealth. So the other part of this job is knowing how to manage the wealth that you're building, right? Many of the financial things we've been taught in life are completely wrong, right? Please take some time to learn about money, okay? If you don't know it yourself, partner with somebody who does. The average Joe is completely broke and they have virtually no financial intelligence, okay? Don't let that happen to you. All right? Boy, I feel like it's pretty in your face today. Apologize for, let me check this. Oh, okay. Any other thoughts, questions, problems, complaints, anything? All right, let me just congratulate you guys one more time. Even without the 4th week of reporting, and a lot of people have not yet reported for the 3rd week, we are 20% over our goal for appointments already for January. So I just want to recognize that. And we are only 8 listings short of our listings taken goal, which I have no doubt we will hit. So congratulations, you guys. You're working hard. I can definitely tell. Do not forget that the 4th week in January, I'm going to be giving away a little prize to the person who has what? Does everyone remember what the contest is? Who adds the most people to their pipeline in the 4th week of January. The cool news, guys, is that we have already added 252 people to our pipeline in the month of January. Let's just say that a third of those people closed. We have created, what is that, 80 closings in the month of January. Y'all see how powerful that is? All right.
Yep.
I'm excited to be your partner, you guys. Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thanks, Bill.
All right. See you soon.
Thanks, Bill.